I've been trying to find the perfect metaphor for transformative healing, and I think that I've gotten close. My first idea was that transformative healing is like swimming through a river of shit. And what works well about that metaphor is it communicates that you're going to have to go through something difficult and unpleasant, and it also has some hope that there's something to the other side that you're trying to get to. And what I really appreciate about this metaphor is it acknowledges that repeatedly throughout the process, it's going to feel like you are about to drown in shit, and then you will just be dead with poop in your lungs. This metaphor is also helpful for acknowledging the differences between different healing tools. Like with psychedelic therapy, you can imagine you're putting on scuba gear, and that gives you some distance from the shit, but also if you don't prepare and have proper guidance, it might be dangerous. Or you can think of mindfulness meditation as like sticking out your tongue and just paying really close attention to what the shit tastes like. Unfortunately, there are problems with this metaphor. First, if you were swimming through a river of shit, you would be able to see how close you are to the other side, which is not the case with transformative healing. And also, it gives the impression that there's no way to stop along the way, there's nothing pleasant along the way, and that the best thing to do would be to just push through as fast as you can, which is an inaccurate and probably dangerous impression to give. The process is more like peeling back layers of wounds and defense mechanisms, so I had to consider the tired layers of an onion metaphor, and it is convenient that onions often make you cry, but there are problems with this metaphor too. First, in the middle of an onion, there's just more onion. There's no literal reason to peel back the actual layers of an actual onion. And again, there is nothing positive about the experience. And it's crucial for this metaphor to show that the healing process does have some incredibly positive experiences involved. For me personally, I have felt tremendous relief. I have felt peace and a capacity for presence that I did not previously think was possible. And I've even felt joy and maybe a little bit of euphoria. And when that ended, then I felt backlash and fear that the positive feelings were a lie, and fear that I didn't know how to operate in the world without my defense mechanisms or even without my wounds. And that is probably actually when it feels the most like you might just drown in shit and be dead with poop in your lungs. So we definitely need to hold on to that part of the metaphor. So the metaphor I've settled on is that you are in a pond full of shit, and at the bottom of that pond is an enormous onion, but in the middle of that onion is not more onion. Instead, it's infinite light and compassion. So you still do have to dive into the shit and swim to the bottom of the shit and then peel back one of the layers of this onion. But when you do, there will be light that comes out through the cracks that you formed in the onion, and that light will spread throughout the pond and it will purify some of the shit. And you can do this as few or as many times as you want, but each time you do it, your pond will get a little less shitty, and you will get more access to that light and that compassion. And the other thing I love about this metaphor is that it is so easy to take a deep breath, dive down into the shit, and before you get to the onion, become overwhelmed with fear that you are going to drown in shit and be dead with poop in your lungs, that you come back up and become more and more convinced that there is no possible benefit to diving into your shit. I think most people have had that experience, and that's probably what most people believe. It was certainly my experience and what I believed for the majority of my life. And that's probably why I was mostly willing to accept treatments that didn't really do much, like SSRIs, which were kind of like putting chlorine in my shit pond, or psychodynamic therapy, which was kind of like dredging the shit pond on a weekly basis, hopefully faster than I was adding shit to it. And I think those things can work for somebody who doesn't have a lot of shit in their pond, but if there was one thing that I could communicate to my younger self, it would be that the onion is real, and so is the light inside of it, and you are capable of accessing it.